I'm not gonna sit there and take those eggs inside the head of the tomatoes and none of that stuff. I'm not gonna sit there and take it, and I hope nobody expects me to. You know, I don't expect myself to. You know, so that way, with that being said, you guys, Mr. Davis, please, you will get a chance to speak if you want. But right, that being said, we want to work together. I don't want you don't come in and intimidate nobody because you're not intimidating, but you're disrupting. But don't come in like that.
Or intimidating, really.
But here's one of the things, and Kathleen might help me on this. The behavior that went on last week at the COAB board meeting, that was appalling, man. That was so out of line. That behavior just so out of line. If I'm gonna talk to you.
Yeah, the entire COAB.
Hold on. The thing about behavior, we started aiming at, people started aiming at personal attacks. Now that cannot be tolerated.
You want to see
we cannot have personal attacks.
I'm sure you all have by now. It's all the
Mr. Davis,
white supremacist
Mr. Davis,
skinhead who targets black
Mr. Davis,
people.
I was talking, man. You'll get a chance, but we're not gonna have personal attacks in here. We can't. You know, we can have disagreements. We all do.
I'm stating fact.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the board.
Well, we can ask them to be objective. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just the same old stuff. It's a tactic that keeps people who need something from getting what they need because we can't do the work.
If you guys would
we've
have
been
just had
charged
your
with
meeting,
doing.
like no one was interrupting anyone, like start your meeting, not here to quietly observe.
We're starting the meeting, we keep getting interrupted.
This is one of the agenda items. He's talking
Yes,
about
he's
the
talking
second
about it.
agenda.
Yeah. Look at
There you go.
Okay, that's yours.
That's an item. You want to, and we can take turns talking about it. Okay?
Disruptive behavior, okay.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, even this meeting here, I don't want to exclude nobody from this meeting. This is a public meeting, as you guys all well know and all well said. But we will if you have to. I will. I just you have to go because we need to have some dialogue and some kind of talk. This is for all of us. It ain't for me. But I was just appalled last week, though. I mean, this is me talking personally now.
Yep,
me talking to Jimmy Johnson. I was appalled. I thought it was just totally unnecessary. And the personal attacks.
I was more appalled after I left, actually, and watched the video of how COAB reacted and how you guys did a group clap session in your support of Bud and bullying the Jewish cop watcher called a white supremacist, and you didn't even look at any of the facts or anything, even though people over here actually saw the text and know it's real and it's been sent to your Twitter account and it's all over the internet. And
Mr. Davis,
Bud took down his Facebook because he slandered me on public record on your COAB.
What would you like to see happen, Mr. Davis? What would you like to see happen?
Well, I'd like to see you stop whitewashing things for a second and actually address the actual real matter.
What would you like to see this
Stop
board
deflecting and turning yourself into victims. You try and act like you're empaths.
Mr. Davis, I want to see something really.
You try and act like you're empaths, but you're basically control freaks and you have no empathy for the most part, other than a few members on COAB that I've seen. Tom Steenson was dead on with his critique of COAB and how you guys are not good at de-escalation, how you don't even understand the concept of de-escalation.
Mr. Davis, let's get to some, we have some guidelines here, Mr. Davis, and a couple of things. We have guidelines from the COAB board meeting from last, and they're on the screen every time we have a meeting, the guidelines. If you don't follow the guidelines, you're going to be asked to leave anybody. That's myself included. If you don't follow the guidelines, but wait now, here's one of the things, here's one of the guidelines tonight. If you want to talk here, you're going to raise your hand. We're going to take turns. If you want to talk, you're going to raise your hand and say, okay, and you can acknowledge. We'll acknowledge it.
That works for me.
Well, let it work then. Okay, right now. We just start right now. But I was just speaking of last week.
Right.
Go ahead.
I would, we're talking about how we can de-escalate disruptive behavior at the COAB meetings. So I would like to hear from, is it David? Is that your name?
David Keefe Davis.
Okay, David, I'd like to hear if you have anything you want to say about how we can de-escalate at these meetings, or any of you other folks. Mike, if you have anything you want to say from your observations. I would really like to hear that instead of the problems that are perceived. I'd like to hear some strategies of how we can work together as a community.
Well, how about start with
Just raise your hand, that way they don't have an excuse to throw you out. Follow their rules, please.
You start with listening, okay? And you start with a thing called empathy. And it seems like a lot of people on the COAB board don't understand either of those concepts. And I'm not addressing like Mandy or Amy, I'm addressing the actual people on the board. That like the people that did the group clap section after Alicia Kapua, how do you say her name? After she did her little speech and then said that, you know, that my whole thing was unacceptable and that you guys are professionals and you demand respect. But here's someone being called a white supremacist who's actually a Jew, right?
Mr. Davis.
And that's like that's about the most disrespectful thing you could say about me. I couldn't even address that at a COAB meeting.
Mr. Davis, I'm gonna ask one thing though, you okay? If you're gonna speak, we might have to put a clock on you, I don't know. But this I want to do say. I don't want you to mention the names of people who are not here. They're board members who I'm a board member. Mention my name, Jimmy Johnson. You mention all you want, it's fine. J-I-M-I, Johnson. You get it? But the other people you mentioned, they're not here. Don't mention names of people who are not here. I'm just saying.
You're asking my input on de-escalation, but then you're shutting me down from even telling my
So what I'd like to get to is the de-escalating disruptive behavior. And this is a good example of what does not work. A continuous engagement as though there is a solution that this board can offer Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, his complaints, legitimate or not, are his complaints, but they're not things with which this board or members of this board can do very much about. If a person lacks empathy, then that's probably pervasive in our society. And I would say there was a lack of empathy on many parts on last Thursday night, the last meeting. And that includes yelling and screaming at someone and shocking other people on the board who have mental health issues and have announced that publicly. And so many of those people were injured by the events and hurt and still hurt by the events that happened at the last COAB meeting. Now, empathy works all around. Empathy works all around. One cannot measure it. And we don't know who does and doesn't have it. That's not the issue here, since we can't do it. We can ask for it, we can share it, but the issues here are we have a public meeting. The public is welcome as long as it's contributing and following meeting guidelines. We also have a public that does not know the public meeting law, because the public meeting law does not say you can be anywhere, and you can film anywhere, and you can say anything you want. As a matter of fact, it says exactly the opposite. That's why I have read it in public. The public meeting law has been read in public. Now, we can argue about it, but I'm not going to, because I know that I'm not foolish enough to do stuff to break the law in public on film, okay? So let's move on to what it is we can do. What can be done, and what I have asked for repeatedly. Because I believe if you have legitimate concerns and about the policies and the practices of the police, is to come up with recommendations that we can use, that we can pass on. So if you have a recommendation that says, I think the police need to be trained in this area, please bring it, please say it. But to come and reiterate the pain, the investigation has been done, we know the pain, we have the empathy. Some of us have been on the other side of where we are now. And some of us have been activists in places making noise and shutting things down, okay? So it's not like nobody knows what's going on here. What is going on is a genuine effort asked for by the broader Portland community to have their voices heard. Those voices are being shut down in the name of individuals who have different agendas.
Okay, thank you. Well, now let me qualify some of this just a little bit, guys, so we can keep this meeting going. Do we need to put a time limit on speaking?
No.
Okay.
Okay. One thing I'd like to bring up is that you say you want to figure out how to remove disruptive behavior in COAB meetings?
De-escalate.
Okay, de-escalate. Best way to do that is stop name calling. And the other thing is to stop people instead of sitting there saying that you got this little area that you can film, let people move around and film where they want to film at, or who they want to film.
Can I respond to that? Can I give you the answer that I have for that? Would you be willing to listen?
I'll listen to what you have to
There are
say.
more than one kind of people in the room, and there's some people who have complained about other people moving around and putting cameras in their faces or being filmed. So who gets to choose? Somebody else's rights are being impinged upon, and we're trying to find a balance. We're saying you can film, but you may not impinge here. And that's the only, if you have another recommendation that works for both sides, I am willing to hear it.
There is no balance, because the thing is.
No, you still get to film.
I've been holding my hands up.
Well, I'm still talking.
No, I
You
want to
get
go
to
to the next.
film.
He
You
knows
get to
what's.
film. You get to film, and this person doesn't feel like they're intruded upon and impinged upon just by how it's been set up. Please think about the other people in the room, not just what you want. Empathy, I think that's called empathy.
I think,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Kathleen. The U.S. Constitution, Article 1 of the Oregon Constitution, has absolutely nothing to do with anybody's feels, okay? A public meeting, feels or feelings, they're little hurts inside.
That's not-
Okay,
that's not
wait,
what
let me
public
finish,
meeting.
please.
Okay.
Okay, it's my turn, right? I held my hand up, I was a good little boy.
Okay.
All right, so, thing is, democracy, our freedom of speech, okay, our freedom to film and document in a public meeting is something that trumps people's little feelings. I'm sorry, but no one has a right not to be filmed in public. That's ridiculous. There's no legal precedent for that. And as far as your public meeting law, you mean rules or decorum?
No,
Or
it's state law.
State law does not say I have to be forced into a free speech cage because of
It does.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
You can be.
No.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.
A lot of reasons.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay.